Hi, I'm Mrs. Burns and welcome to Lesson 3 of our Chapter 10 unit on Algebra. The first thing I'd like you to do is go back and reread all of the definitions that we had in Section 10.1. That was the first lesson from this chapter. And you should definitely know by now why BEDMAS is important and how it changes the answer that you get when you actually use the order of operations. So to try these kinds of examples again, first you want to add or subtract around your constant so that you can create a value of 1 or 0. Then you want to multiply or divide your coefficient so that you can get your variable by itself and then solve for that variable. So here is an example. P divided by 2 minus 1 equals 18. So the first thing we want to do is get rid of this minus 1, and let's do the opposite, and that would be adding 1, because negative 1 plus 1 equals 0, and P divided by 2 plus 0, you don't have to say plus 0. But if we add 1 to one side, we must add 1 to the other side. So we end up with P divided by 2 plus 0 equals 18 plus 1. So P divided by 2 equals 19. Now that we have the P divided by 2 all by itself, we need to get the P all by himself. So right now we have divided by 2. What's the opposite of division? We need to multiply, and we're going to multiply by 2 because then we get a value of 1, because any number divided by itself equals 1. So this is saying 1P equals 19 times 2, but you don't actually need to say 1P, you can just say P equals 38, which is 19 times 2. Try it by plugging back in. 38 divided by 2 minus 1 should equal 18. Double check. Okay, in this example we have negative z divided by 3 plus 1, so let's get rid of that by minusing 1, so this equals 0. And if we're going to do that, we have to minus 1 on the other side, equals negative 4 minus 1. Negative z over 3 equals negative 5. Now to get the negative z by itself, we can times both sides by 3 so that these two 3's come together equal 1. So we have negative z equals negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. Now we see that we're stuck with a negative z. We want positive z. So if we times this by negative 1, then you're going to have a negative times a negative, which will give you a positive answer. So we should times this side by negative 1 too. So negative times negative will give us a positive z, because any number times 1 is itself, and if you times it by another negative, you'll get a positive number. So tricky, fun there. And then negative 15 times negative 1, we know the answer is going to be 15, and is it going to be negative or positive? Well, the signs are the same, so it's going to be a positive number. So we have 15 there. Now the way you want to plug this one back in is keep that z from the beginning, so negative, and then wherever the z is, that's where you put the new number, and that divided by 3 plus 1. And if you plug that in, negative 15 divided by 3 is negative 5, plus 1 is negative 4. There you go. That equals negative 4. And last example over here. Right now we have minus 15, so let's add 15, so this equals 0. And then add 15 to this side, so negative 17 plus 15 equals n divided by 36. Negative 17, down 17 stairs plus up 15 stairs means you're down 2 stairs, equals n over 36. Now to get rid of that 36, we need to times it by 36, because any number over top of itself is 1. So whatever you do to one side, don't forget to do to the other side. You're nice and equal, and so we get an n value of negative 72. And you can plug that back in. Negative 72 divided by 36 minus 15 should equal negative 17. Let's try a word example. One weekend, Elijah did math homework for 10 minutes more than a third of the time he did science homework. If Elijah did a total of 20 minutes of math homework, how long did it take him for his science homework? So how do we tackle this question? Well, first thing I see is 10 minutes more and a total of. So usually a total of means that it equals to 20. So that would be like the answer to our equation. 10 minutes more is usually 10 plus, 10 more than a third of the time you did science. And so 1/3 of the science time. And you can say 1/3 science, or you could say 10 plus the science time over 3 equals 20. So I'm looking at this and let's double check. He did a total minutes of math was 20 minutes, and he did math homework for 10 minutes more than a third of the time he did science. So we're going to solve for science. That makes sense because that says how long did it take for the science homework. So I think we're good to start solving. Now the first thing I want to do is get rid of this 10, so I'm going to minus 10 from both sides. So s divided by 3 equals 20 minus 10, which is 10. Now I'm going to times both sides by 3. So he did science then for 30 minutes. So I'm going to write that down. He did science for 30 minutes. And we'll box that answer because that's the final answer too. Alright, we're going to practice this a lot more in class next day. Please come with all of your questions and ready to learn.